the top right. So far, losing already to SC. They call him the Simpsons Protoss. On the Team Prime, he is.
anypro Prime win.
Looks very nonchalant there in his booth. Down here at the bottom position, a member of the team MVP. Used to be actually known as Cute Foyu. He is.
MVP Noblesse.
Noblesse is one of the best players in the world. He doesn't get enough credit for his innovation, but he's done all sorts of really cool builds. That Ghost first TVT build was like super awesome. He was the first person to do that. He's shown a lot of cool 2-racks play. And you guys don't see all of that because it's not necessarily in the GSL, but I've seen this guy play a lot, and I know he's really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting builds that a lot of players still haven't used on TV yet because you do want to make sure you use what you're strong with. There's a lot of other interesting things that are out there, but just it takes a little while for it to get refined enough to actually be willing to use it on TV. So we do have a fast expansion coming out here for
these guys
anypro.
Both making theirs at 15, and their build time on these are exactly the same. Like, they've made them at the exact same moment, the Nexus and the Command Center.
This is interesting for the Terran player because he is getting the barracks a little bit later, so that's going to delay his orbital commands for both of them. Somewhat of an even trade-off. He can get his gas up quicker on the expansion, and because it is a faster yield gas, that can balance out quite quickly.
Yeah, and if neither of them can scout what their opponent is doing, they have to also try to play safely. Because even though we have a very passive situation going on here, neither player is going to know that.
So we do see 2 barracks coming out here. He is going to delay to get his refinery until the expansion comes up. He can start it very, very soon, and it'll be finished at the exact same time as the expansion.
anypro's scout actually ran into the scout of Noblesse, and based on where it was coming from, he should redirect. Now he's starting to realize, I think, what's going on. He's redirecting his probe to go in the correct direction. Noblesse doesn't have a Marine out, so he might not be able to block this if anypro decides to just barrel his way through here and go and scout. He is going to be able to see what's going on. And he is, in fact, going to be able to get in here. Comes into the back, sees exactly what's going on. That's going to make him feel very comfortable. In fact, he's going to skip making Zealots. He's going to just Chrono Boost out probes. Is the probe going to escape? Nope, but he is going to see that Tech Lab.
The probe actually could have gotten out in that situation, but he did want to come back and get a little bit more scouting. See that Tech Lab like you were talking about. See that there's no 2 gases in the main, so there's only 1 gas going on right now. It is a high yield, so he's going to get a little bit faster. It's going to change the timing slightly, but it's not anything too scary to worry about.
Concussive shells in that first Marauder coming out now for Noblesse. He's only taken that high yield gas. He hasn't taken any of his other gases. Interestingly enough, anypro took his main gas, but did not take the gas of the backdoor expansion.
Yeah, it's because he needed to get that gas out earlier. He needed to get the gas up so he can get the Stalkers, he can get the gateway tech, warp gate, excuse me.
It's kind of strange to me that he hasn't taken a second one yet, you know what I mean? At this timing, most people would have had a second gas, but he wants to get as many Stalkers out as he can. Doesn't want to spend that 75 minerals just yet.
He is also getting a lot of mineral intake at this time. It might allow him to get an early 3rd if he wanted to, but it would be very scary and a poor move to do against the Concussive Shell Marauder, of course, that's going to be coming out here for Noblesse.
Yeah, Noblesse actually trying to see exactly what anypro is up to, but he has to be caught here in the middle of the map with this Stalker. anypro is adding 3 gateways. He's going to be going up to 5 gates, and this SCV might see everything.
It does actually get in. It does see the cybernetics core. It does see the 2 gateways. Doesn't really see much else going on.
That was close, man.
He can assume that the gateway or the second base is there. He does not see the other 5 gateways going on, though. This is going to be a 7-gate force for anypro. And he does have a pylon going down near the base of Noblesse. If he can get this up, he can get out a lot of units very, very quickly. Oh, does get scattered.
That was pretty lucky he was able to see that. Just barely gets the vision when he went up that ramp. Now he knows what's going on. Pylon is being remade. Warp gate research is done. He's warping his gates now. This is a really nice timing by anypro. He's actually added an 8th gateway. I can't tell you guys how all in this is.
Please try, though.
I mean, you can't support 8 gates on 2 bases, really. The only reason he's going to be able to warp in this many units is because he's banking up a lot of resources as the gateways morph.
Yeah, he's going to just try to have a really strong first and second wave, and then from there, just try to get the kill move in. After that, one of those gateways probably isn't going to be usable.
I don't think Noblesse is reading this right. He's only made one bunker. His stim is... he's researching combat shields before stim. Oh, no, I take it back. He's got 2 tech ups. That was a close call, man. I was like, oh, he's not researching stim. This is going to end pretty quickly.
So we have a bunch of sentries coming out here, as well as zealots. He didn't invest a lot of his gas into those sentries. He's not really going to have the firepower from the stalkers, but he is going to be able to take down these rocks, open up that ramp a little bit, allow more of his zealots to get up. To
the SCV is going to get out and see the army. Now he's going to start adding bunkers. He's going to go into panic mode. SCV is being pulled here. This is going to be really hard to hold. He's making depots to help wall off. He's going to start that second bunker. It's not started yet. Guardian shield up. Here he goes.
Ooh, very nice force field. It is going to force half the army from, or the SCVs from Noblesse not to be able to repair. A lot of these units are taking a lot of damage. However, the Zealots are having a difficult time getting in, and they are able to force the first wave back without taking too many losses.
He does have stim. That bunker's taking a lot of hits. He's not repairing it. Remember, using that stim multiple times means that those units are going to be very weak when he attacks, though the medevacs are on the way.
The medevacs are on the way, but Noblesse is down to 27 harvesters, while anypro is at 46 probes. If he just turns around, heads home, gets some tech going, he can actually just come back in the game right there.
I think that's what he's going to do, too.
Yeah.
Good read by anypro, realizing that he's done enough damage to where he can just go home from here.
Yep, go home. He's setting up a third base. It's a really nice move. He's also getting out the Twilight Council so he can get the upgrades. He's putting on that third gas. He only had 2 before, just finished his third.
And the cool thing is, he didn't lose a lot of units. If you lose the units with this, that's when it becomes the all-in, and you're like, oh, well, he's got medevacs and stim, what am I going to do? Now he's already got the Twilight Council up, and he's got 8 gates, which you can support on 3 bases.
And he really only lost the Zealots in that fight. All the sentries stay alive. They can go home, regenerate their energy on these rocks for whatever reason.
Well, he's going to kill those rocks so that when the attack comes, he can use the Zealots more efficiently. But he's got these gates powered up already for when that third base comes, so he can take care of that. You know, last time we saw him play, he added up to about 8 gates on 2 bases, and then took the third, but this time he's going to have the third up much quicker. So he's already powering up for that. So, this attack from Noblesse is actually going to come at a really nice timing. The expansion is most likely going to finish, but it's not going to be able to be defended quite yet. So if Noblesse times this right and has the right force to be able to fight this, he can force the third to be cancelled. Good force fields, and most of the units of Noblesse are just kind of streaming across the map. But this first engagement could go well for anypro. He doesn't have a lot of Stalkers, though. His Stalkers are back at the backdoor expansion preparing for drops.
And anypro really just wants to delay this a little bit until charge finishes. That's a lot of Zealots. If they can all close very quickly on the bio army of Noblesse, he can do a lot of damage.
Oh man, that's 4 drops going to the back.
The fight is already happening right now. Oh no, that's the factory. Excuse me.
This drop is huge. He doesn't have enough units to hold this. He's going to lose a lot of probes. And anypro is so scared about another frontal attack, he's not even sending his entire army back. The army he is sending back might not even be able to kill this force.
But he does get some Templars. They are going to feed back on those dropships or medevacs, and the Zealots are going to close very, very quickly. There's not enough medevac energy to actually repair these units. They are spending a lot of energy on, or a lot of health on stim. The other force is going to be attacking the front at the same time, but the drop is going to be fended off without taking too many probe losses.
Well, neither of those players really paid attention to the drop, so I thought Noblesse was going to get the better hand there and might have been able to win. But then anypro finally realized, oh, I'm only using half of my army, and then chased it away.
Yeah, those feedbacks were actually the clutch situation that attack, because 3 of the medevacs had 0 energy. Those 3 medevacs healing the units of Noblesse would have really kept those units fighting a lot longer and would have changed that battle quite a bit.
anypro
really
has...
nice move.
He's adding that force now. He has no upgrades, though. I like this move to land the factory, although it does get blocked. He was trying to use the factory to wall. We're going to have another engagement at the natural. Nice moves by Noblesse. His Mirage are like doing some sick dance moves, man, running back and forth like that. And with only Zealots in this composition, you just cannot engage that army. You'll never win.
That was a really nice drop by the factory. There's another drop going on by Noblesse. Not any serious damage happening, but it is posturing to be able to
Oh, what is this Archon doing? Maybe knock my headset out, man.
Uh-oh. I can still hear you. You're good.
All right.
The drop is going to get cleaned up by these Zealots. Zealots in charge are really nice at cleaning up drops from the Terran player. Meanwhile, the other Zealots are going to chase away the rest of the Marauders at the front.
So, this engagement is going Noblesse's way, at least temporarily. He's going to do another Mega Drop. That's what these drops are called. Some people call them Doom Drops. I call them Mega Drops. He's got, I don't know, about 9 drop ships going towards anypro's base. He's also got 2 more drop ships. It's like, what is this? Every Marauder has his own personal drop ship to heal it. This is the Mega Drop, and anypro is going to lose a lot of units here. He's going to send his units back.
The thing is, Noblesse dropped all his units, but he kept the medevacs running away, so they aren't actually going to heal a lot of the original Marauders. It doesn't matter, there are a lot of units here. They are going to be able to do a lot of damage, but the army, he's going to run away.
Well, if he had just a few more Stalkers in this mix, Noblesse wouldn't be able to do this, but Noblesse realizes, hey, you're not making any Stalkers. I could just do this back and forth all day. You'll never kill my medevacs. One thing to note is Noblesse is just now getting that 3rd base up. He's landing that Command Center over there.
He is also starting to get the Ghosts out now.
3 Ghosts on the way.
Yeah, the Templar came out relatively early for anypro. He hasn't used Storm at all yet. He's just using them for the Archons and the feedback on the medevacs.
Something that Tassadar did actually in Code A was he would just make the High Templar for feedbacks but never actually use them for Storm. You may see something similar like that from anypro. He hasn't researched Storm at all. He's still not getting it. Getting a 2nd Forge though. It's going to be 1-1 against just +1, but right now when this attack happens, he doesn't have any upgrades. So Noblesse having that on his side, drawing these Zealots forward, and again with a very limited number of Stalkers, it's almost impossible for anypro to engage this.
Yeah, the stim on those Marauders makes them able to run away very quickly, and there's so many medevacs. Oh my god.
Yeah, right now there are 13 medevacs out, 16 Marauders and 14 Marines. 4 Ghosts as well. They're kind of hanging back at the 3rd base of Noblesse. He's continuing to be aggressive with this army because he knows his expansion has been up much later. He wants to keep picking off the units of anypro so the army doesn't get to be too big. Yep. I'd like to see him bring his Ghosts up with this though, because that Storm is getting pretty dangerously close to finishing.
Yeah, when that Storm finishes, the army here is going to be forced to run away a little bit. If those medevacs get caught in 2 or 3 Storms, they're all going to die.
Very true. 3 more Ghosts on the way. He's going to have a total of 8 Ghosts out here pretty soon. That's a lot of Ghosts.
He is also getting another Engineering Bay and an Armory, so he can get those +2, +3 upgrades for his bio units. When he gets those, these Marauders are going to be extremely scary. Because there's no Colossi on the field yet for anypro, the Viking count didn't need to be increased at the moment, so he is able to get out a lot of those medevacs, which really helps his bio army quite a bit.
It's very true. We now have 6 High Templar out with enough energy for Storm. We're going to see that come into play here pretty soon. anypro is kind of turtling up a little bit. Now he's starting to get aggressive. I like this move to start finally moving out on the map with those Templar. Has to control the Watchtower so he can get good feedbacks off. Doesn't want to get caught by Ghosts in a weird position. And Noblesse stemmed his entire army for no reason. I think he wants to engage, he just hasn't quite decided how he wants to do it yet.
He also might be trying to keep some of the energy down from the medevac so they can't get one-shot.
That's true also, that's a very good point.
The High Templar.
I hadn't considered that. Sometimes you see Banshees repeatedly cloak and decloak in those kind of situations where you're trying to keep the Banshees from being feedbacked.
Little ways to counteract the Protoss units. So he's going to try to bring the rest of his army together, bring in those 8 Ghosts that he has. He almost has
a really scary army.
For the Ghosts, and he's getting +2
for
his bio.
Unlimited
and goes in for the attack right now. Oh, the Zealots charge him, but then run away. Very nice EMP going on right there. Only one of the Templar was hit. Oh, now all the Templar are hit. Very nice use of the those Ghosts in that situation. It's not looking good for anypro's army right now.
It's not looking good, but some good
storms.
Nice storms. And things are looking a lot better now. But even so, there's so many Marauders that Zealots cannot close the distance quickly enough. Like I was saying earlier, every Marauder has his own personal medevac dropship. And even though it looks like anypro is doing decently here, he's losing a lot of units. And this is not even all of Noblesse's army.
It's not, but it is a good portion of this. It's really good for anypro to be taking this out right now. He only really is investing Zealots into this. A lot of the Templar got turned into Archons, and those Archons are what is chasing away this army. The expansion of Noblesse is going to be forced to be lifted off. However, there is a hidden expansion at the top left base that will come into play very soon once he starts saturating that with some of his SCVs.
Supply-wise, Noblesse is up 20 supply, but 30 of that supply is in medevac dropships. He's got 11 Marauders, 15 dropships, and 7 Marines. Of course, there are 2 Vikings in there just in case. I now like to call it just in case fight.
A few Marauders have 2 personal medevacs, not just 1.
Yeah.
Gotta have 1 for your vacation, 1 for your normal business day.
Well, it's like having 2 girlfriends, man. Sometimes it's something you just don't really want.
Yeah, just way too much upkeep.
Can you imagine if all those Marauders died and there were like 5 Marauders left, and then the medevacs were like, oh man, there's only 5 Marauders left, and each Marauder has 3 girlfriends? Have you ever had 3 girlfriends before? That's
cars,
tough.
Not girlfriends, but anyway. Just need a bigger garage going on. Alright, so one Templar there is going to feed back that medevac, take it out very quickly, and that drop. The Zealots are going to be able to clean up those Marauders. These Zealots are being very nice watchdogs. I think anypro really needs like a sign at the front of his base, beware of Zealot.
Well, interestingly enough, he hasn't made any Stalkers, as well as dropships are still alive. It might be like a tactical way. In the later stages of the game, Koreans are yelling about something. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I missed it.
I heard a feedback. I think it was a feedback on a dropship. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was a drop.
Okay.
That came to anypro's base and got fed back. Feedback, fed back? I don't know, man.
Feedback?
Feedback, yeah, that's what it is. I'm a pro, so I don't know these things.
And the expansion is going to get countered once again. He doesn't have a whole lot of Stalkers in his force.
He doesn't want to go too far forward. Oh, this might be a big mistake.
Yeah, those Zealots just charged a little too quickly, getting a little overeager. However, nice EMP going on. A lot of those forces are going to be able to be chased away. He got out these Vikings because he's expecting the Colossi. However, not really any on the field yet. They will be coming out soon.
The very first one is on its way. He's not overcommitted to the Vikings. I kind of like him just getting those out. It means when the Colossi do start to show up, he's already prepared for it.
Yep.
He's got +2 armor and +1 weapons. So even though he's had those forges for a while, he hasn't quite been utilizing them as well as he could have. And the same can be said of Noblesse. He's only at 2-2. He's got this huge opportunity to start researching 3-3. Just hasn't done it yet. Both these guys spending all of the resources on units. They're very scared of each other at the moment. Colossi range being started and another base being taken for anypro. He still doesn't know about the top base. Well, he's actually about to find out. The Zealot.
That Zealot is going in there. It's going to kill the Marine, scout the upper left base. Apparently, it wasn't on move command to the expansion of it, though, so he's not going to scout it quite yet. Noblesse is also getting a lot of command centers. He is going to try to transition over to using more mules than SCVs. Oh. The Zealot scouts the lower right base that was trying to be taken. Noblesse just sending command centers everywhere. Zealots trying to defend against it.
Here comes another engagement. There's so many Zealots here. Nice storm, but that EMP hits 3 High Templar. This is a very tough place for any pro to engage. The storm may hit.
Oh, 2 storms going on. It's going to force the army to back off. Didn't do any serious damage, but that time is exactly what he needed to be able to position the rest of his army in here. That's a lot of Zealots running in. That's a lot of Archons behind doing extra damage to these biological units. 2 Immortals in the mix as well to be able to take down these Marauders very, very quickly. Only Archons and Immortals left at this moment. One little Templar following him behind, just cheering his troops on. Exactly what needs to be happening right now. If he can take down the rest of these bio units, he can start to take down the medevacs, which he's doing right now. However, there are reinforcements coming in here from Noblesse. That's a lot of units coming in. Brings a few SCVs just to mix it up a little bit. Is able to take down the Marauders, or the Immortals, able to take down the Stalkers and chase that Colossi away. Colossi almost got away, but it did fall when it was trying to climb that cliff. Does not have extended thermal climbing shoes.
Oh, it's very true, man. Gotta research that at the robotics facility. Robotics support bay, I should say. See, now I made the mistake. Now you made it earlier.
Sorry.
Well, it's actually just called the robotics bay in StarCraft 2. It's called support bay in 1. That's because there's no Reavers. They don't have the support anymore.
Yeah.
They took out Reaver support in StarCraft 2.
Observer's sitting here right now, but that is going to be a very dangerous situation because that turret is going to go up soon. He sees that and is going to run away.
The Cloak Ghosts are going to kill the Observer, and now, what do you do? The 2 Archons like, the 2 Templar are like, we're going to die if we don't merge together now. Let's do it. Super emotional.
Make a good movie.
It would. I was going to say, man, it'd be a good movie.
The first
Should be a
Archon.
StarCraft movie, man. The first Archon. That Colossus was a little out of place.
Oh, that one Marine. Poor guy. He's chasing after the rest of his forces. He charged in too soon and then takes the full brunt of the storm.
Well, this is a little awkward. There's Ghosts in here killing High Templar unopposed. And, you know, these little things are starting to add up a lot. Noblesse has a much better army now than his opponent. It still has better upgrades. The problem is he has so many medevacs. He doesn't have that many actual units, so anypro keeps holding on again and again, but I don't think he's going to hold on much longer. He's lost all of his Templar.
Yeah, he's also losing a lot of observers here and there, which takes up time in his
GG. He realized he had no units. That army that you saw there from Noblesse was actually like a fifth of his army. He had so much more armies at home.
It's a really nice showing by Noblesse in this fight. anypro not doing quite as well as expected. Did have a really nice timing push where he was able to take down a lot of the SCVs that Noblesse pulled in that first fight, but that really just wasn't enough after that. There was a lot of drops going on for Noblesse. Noblesse had a really strong army, and anypro just really didn't put on the pressure later in the game.
I'll be blunt with you guys. When your opponent has that many medevacs and you don't have any stalkers, and you're like constantly killing the units, but then it's like there's a bunch of medevacs there, and you're like one sentry's like bzzz, trying to shoot it, and he just runs away, and then you have only zealots. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but almost every one of those fights was a bunch of zealots going, I really want to attack you, I really want to.
And then anypro telling him, no, not allowed to fight
yet. He goes like, runs forward, runs back, runs forward, runs back, loses 8 zealots. No damage done. And that just kept happening over and over and over again. You have to add stalkers into the mix. At some point, you do have to have some stalkers into the mix. So the Zealot Archon build is really good, but then suddenly you're like, well, I'm never really able to do any damage, and he's got good EMPs. The ghost control was good. The EMPs were good. The cloak usage was awesome. He like realized, he scanned, he's like, okay, there's one observer, and he goes on like the the covert mission. Well, it was a co-op. There were 2 ghosts.
Okay.
Go on their covert mission. They're like, kill that observer. They're like, oh, now what are you going to do, anypro? Anypro's like, oh no.
Had to run away. There's nothing to do at that point.
There's nothing to do.
It was interesting, though, to see that from anypro. He had a really nice strategy, but he didn't react. So Noblesse was able to counter his strategy, and then anypro just kept doing it for whatever reason. You really can't be rigid like that in a game like this.
I like the mega drops.
Yeah,
you bring 15
cool.
drop ships,
and 15 marauders.
It's like, well, each marauders get their own personal drop ship, man. They'll just
take better care of it then.
Yeah, they do need to take. Well, did you notice a lot of those drop ships never got repaired? All of them on very low hit points.
That's true.
Like some storms killed like 6 drop ships. Sad day. Those drops.
Sad day for those marauders.
Well, I gotta say, anypro played well. That game was a lot more indicative of his skill than the last one we saw, and
at least the first half.
Yeah, and he made a few mistakes there, but it was a good play overall.
So we're actually going to be going into the 5th game right now. It is going to be Tassadar versus SC on the map of
Metalopolis.
Yes, I just wanted to wait for it to come on screen.
Oh, okay. I was like, Torch, you don't know, man, it's right there. It's like on your little stat sheet and everything.
In Korean, translated in English. Yep, great job. So both of these players are on, what's the score right here? Tassadar is 1-0 and SC is actually 1-1. So this is going to be SC's final test. If he loses this, he's not going to be able to make it up to Code S. But if he wins, then he's still going to have a really good shot.
This is really important for Tassadar. If he loses this one, he's pretty much guaranteed to not make it into Code S as well. He did lose that first game, so this is really important for both of these guys. Tassadar versus SC at the up and down matches at PSL. I am Wolf. With me is Torch. Let's jump into Metalopolis. I love your little like jokes while I'm making my intro.